Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner Classic, that's new classics. This is episode number 2125 and Doubleshot 2019. Yes, the 2125th episode. Yep, reaches far. With this episode, we're talking about two sci-fi trades, both released from Marvel Comics. And you're thinking, really? Two sci-fi trades? Well, let's find out for you. First up, from Charles Show, we have Star Wars Volume 4, Crimson Reign. Yeah, this is the Star Wars. This is the main Star Wars book. This is their tie-in to that particular miniseries, Crimson Reign. This book takes up issues 19 to 25. Yes, 1925. Which, if you think about it, let's see. The 22nd issue is probably, and Marvel did not consider this for some reason. I don't know why, but they didn't. I don't get why. It's kind of weird. Where they did not consider basically 22nd issue of this volume to be the 100 issue of this era of Star Wars. Yeah, I don't really know why. It's just kind of weird. Let's see. Volume 2, I think that was like 75 issues, I think it was. Yeah, 75 issues. Yeah, I thought it was 78, my mistake. And so 25 is actually their one issue of this era. Yes, 100 issues. Now, Marvel for this book did not have a continuation of the Legacy numbering. I don't really know why. They just didn't. Yeah, mostly put in the main. Now, the main story is taken from 1924. 25 is a double-sided issue because not only 20 issue of the volume, but also 100 issue of this whole entire run. And overall for Star Wars by Marvel Comics, let's see. 100 plus 107. This is roughly the 207 issue of the whole series. And yes, so basically a lot of this stuff is focused on Luke Skywalker. Yeah, well, here's the thing. The artwork in here is done by Mark Castillo. He does most of this issue 1921 with Roman Rosso's issue 21. He takes over as the main artist with issue 22. And does the 24 with Mabek Maurer, the 24. 25 is done by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's a really good artist. We have, of course, Roman Rosas, who is the main artist of this book, Gustavo Cabacali, Danielle Ordi, Will Seeley, and Phil Noto. And like I mentioned, this whole book is about Luke Skywalker. So we have where they're planning the next strategy of the war, where apparently that, well, they have sort of the rebellion sort of reunited. And of course, this is still not Return of the Jedi yet. We're basically, I think at this point, we're just kind of laying the groundwork toward Return of the Jedi. That's the kind of feels as though with this book. And I would not be surprised that we actually have something in a vein of, let's have the Star Wars book set after Return of the Jedi. Even though we technically have had a book set after Return of the Jedi. It's called China Empire. They try to use, basically also she tried to use the Jedi mind trick. Doesn't work because he's still an apprentice. So most of the issue we have Vader looking for Luke, but that's not really the focus here. It's Luke going to various temples and trying to continue his training, while also finding a Jedi holocron. Now you might be thinking, did these things pop up in the original trilogy? No, they didn't. The first of the holocrons ever appeared in Star Wars was in the prequel trilogy. This is the invention of the prequel trilogy. I think it's actually a great invention, in my opinion. Yeah, there's some people that like the prequel trilogy. This actually is one thing I've never heard anybody say anything bad about. This whole idea, the whole Jedi holocron. It's basically kind of like a memory disk, kind of like a USB drive that basically stores stuff. Then we have Luke going to this planet to potentially get more power, or at least get more experience. It's called the Living Sea of Giza. That's where he has to go. And he sort of like lands on a platform Doesn't land on the planet itself. Lands on a platform. He basically hops down and he gets, well, he doesn't know about the atmosphere. He takes an oxygen mask. The very same oxygen mask he also used when he went to take a bath, and finds this person who's sort of a Jedi master. Gives some really good advice. We see visions. We see this one here. This one actually is the planet that popped up in at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of Skywalker, at the Force Awakens and Last Jedi. Yep. So eventually he gets out, but does retrieve a book. Yes, a book to help him potentially look for more Jedi stuff. Yep. And that was just the first 2 issues. Now, the next issue is all about Trap on the Star Destroyer called Tarkin's Will. Yeah, we also see that Tarkin's Will has been sliced out by a previous battle. Yep. And we see this mysterious Stormtrooper basically looking around. And the Stormtrooper turns out to be... Well, we see Sergeant Digger. I'm thinking, is that Poe's dad? Oh, yeah, that is. And who is under the suit? Why, it's his wife, Poe Dameron's mom. Yes, Poe Dameron, the most, I think for any fans, any person who actually likes the characters of the sequel trilogy, Poe, I've never heard anybody saying bad about Poe because Poe is awesome. Finn was sort of, people call him like wasted potential, and in the chorus of Rey, they consider her a Mary Sue. But nobody says anything about Poe because Oscar Isaac is awesome as Poe. Poe is by far, of the main 3 of the sequel trilogy, this is my honest opinion, he's probably by far the best written character. Though he's been somewhat idiotic in Last Jedi, but he's a great character. He just oozes with charisma. And heck, he brags about the fact that he's the best pilot in the Resistance because he actually is. Yep. So we have stuff related to his parents here. So they go basically forth away to rescue her. We even have a torture, an atom of a torture, which, by the way, this device was actually last seen in Empire Strikes Back. Oh, by the way, guess who went through this torture? Han Solo. Yep, but he pointed out, though, they did not ask many questions. They just torched her complete random. Yep, so she eventually gets rescued in this awesome 3-part story. And, well, then we lead into stuff related to the 20th issue, which you could say the 20th issue is basically, you could say it's like, let's say it's stories across the franchise. My opinion, I think that the 20th issue is just a series of issues that basically, like, the one story in here where it's kind of a epilogue to a particular book because Charles Shaw wrote it. First we have Obi-Wan and Anakin. This sort of is a follow-up to the book that was technically, in a way, Charles Shaw's first entry into the Star Wars line of books, the Obi-Wan Anakin miniseries, which was really good. I believe this book is set before Attack of the Clones. It's only 6 issues, and this book here is mostly put just basically a follow-up to that one there. Yep. Next, now, here's the thing. All 4 books in here, you have all stories. You have one for Obi-Wan Anakin, Darth Vader, Kylo, and Poe Dameron. And here's the thing about all 4 of these books, all 4 of these characters' stories have in common. Charles Shaw wrote all of these books. Obi-Wan Anakin was a miniseries. Poe Dameron was an ongoing. Vader, obviously, was an ongoing series. Kylo Ren, that's actually a follow-up to the Adventures of Kylo Ren miniseries. Because this basically is kind of, like I said, just a follow-up to it. Just another story for them, and of course, well, that's it. It's an excellent issue, and a great way. Now, in the case of the Poe Dameron issue, that's sort of a epilogue to the comic book that basically ended, that Charles Shaw worked on for 31 issues. That, yeah, I think was good at the end of that point, because where else can you go with that book? Because the first 25 issues are set before the events of the very first movie of the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens, and the rest of the book is simply explaining, like, first half of the issues, explaining what's up to the Force Awakens. The rest of it is simply just following. Of course, the present is mostly following events of the Last Jedi, but it ends at a certain point. This sort of follow up to it, and I think it's really good. Great trade. Despite the fact it's called Crimson Dawn, it really has almost nothing to do with Crimson Dawn at all. That sad thing about this book is that, despite the fact it's, like I said, it's called Crimson Dawn, the issues are tied in the Crimson Dawn, but these issues have nothing to do with Crimson Dawn at all. You might be wondering though, does Contenders make appearance in these issues? One issue she be experienced. Yep. Next that we have is Eternals, History Written in Blood. This was a series of one-shots, 3 one-shots, all written by Kieran Gillen, that came out during his run for the Eternals. I've not heard anything if they can continue the Eternals ongoing series by Kieran Gillen. It's completely unknown at this point in time because they abruptly said stop the book at issue 12 because of the Judgment Day crossover. I don't know what's going to happen with the Eternals now. Don't know. So basically the one-shots are Thanos Rises, Siesta, and The Heretic. Fun fact about the first one-shot, Thanos Rises. This actually was released between issues 6 and 7. And here's the thing. Marvel just released one-shots in a side trade, and plus they also include material from What If 24 or 28. Kieran Gillen does the writing of these issues. He doesn't do the What If issue. He has nothing to do with those. Not really. And here's the thing. The artwork for the first 2 one-shots of Asa Rubik, who's the main cover interior artist for the main Eternals book. He does not do the interior of these one-shots. Nope, he does the first 2 one-shots. Not the third one. The third one's on Jerry Sorrento, who's a really good artist. Now you have Dustin Weaver doing the first one. You have Siesta doing the assist one-shots done by Z Zama. And The Heretic is done by Ryan Baheim and Edgar Salazar. Now most of these books are focused on Thanos himself, because that's basically what we have here. We have basically sort of a detailed history of the Eternals, and basically having slowly, and of course a feature here, but not the main primary characters. And they mentioned that, that the Eternals are created, not born, because when they try to do a natural birth, it went wrong, so they prefer just to basically have them be immortals. Yep, despite the fact Ajax herself did have a son. But I think that what's going on here is that Eternals can have children with each other because it turns out really bad. But if they have a child with, let's say, a regular human, it turns out perfectly fine. Yep. Yeah. Just some really good stuff here. There's also stuff here with the Avengers Million BC. And the Heretic one-shot is interesting because we have this character here who is, they refer to him as the Heretic. And you're probably thinking, the guy's appearance, look at his design. He looks like Thanos. Yes. And there's a reason for that, because it's at the end of the one-shot, this guy is Thanos' grandfather. Thanos' father is Mentor. Yes, seriously. Yeah, and basically, here's the thing. Thanos is now the Prime Eternal. This is something that Kieran Gillen did. Now here's the thing. The first issue, now this is basically from these are backup stories. These are technically canon. You have Ralph Macchio does the opening issue for 24, and Rick Buckler does the artwork. Now, as you can see, it's the classic style Jack Kirby. I love the fact that the artist issue basically went with the Jack Kirby style, which I thought was a really good idea. Mostly put just some untold tales of the Eternals. That was just the first issue. Yeah, for some reason, the next issue, instead of Ralph Macchio, there's the next issue. For some reason, they decided to go with Mark Grunwald and Ron Wilson as the artist. We're talking about the Unman, which is awesome. Yep, 26. This is basically Uranus. These are just really good one-shots. Heck, there's an appearance here by the Century Robo popping up in Captain Marvel books. Awesome. Yeah, really good stuff here. I love the fact that Kieran Gillen did the series of one-shots. Book is really good. Give this book I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because it's just really good. Nothing wrong here, per se. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it, particular review. I got to do a stream right now. I'll be back with my review for Bart. Okay, next video. Bye.